Action movies, drama, animated films, writing, producing, directing. She's one of the most versatile actors in Hollywood today. It's the films of Angelina Jolie tonight on Real to Real Talk. Film is a medium that transports. All I have to do is pop myself in front of the TV to watch a movie, and I can just enjoy it, whatever place the film takes me to.
Movies have always been an escape. It gives you a whole new world to be in.
I have a rekindled love affair with movies.
Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Real to Real Talk. I am Sergio Barrera, and joining me, as always, are the other Real to Real Talkers, Susan Chisholm and Paul Britton. Team, welcome. It's time to talk movies.
It certainly is. Not just any movies.
True.
The movies of Angelina Jolie.
The movies of Angelina Jolie.
Indeed. We are going to talk about one of the most talented individuals in Hollywood. I was looking through her filmography and I guess somewhere along the way I forgot that she has done so much work behind the camera in comparison to what she's done in front of, and has really produced some interesting work. And so tonight we're going to talk about the films of Angelina Jolie. We will also, of course, have our regular weekly segments, and we're going to take a look at her latest during this week's Real Quick Reviews. So as we get started, guys, talk a little bit about sort of your first exposure to Angelina Jolie. Was there a film you remember that was sort of the earliest that you first encountered her work?
Oh, man, I'm trying to think. Who? Paul? You go first.
I remember, look, here's the thing about Angelina Jolie is, I mean, if you're a human being and you're even remotely attracted to other human beings, you're attracted to Angelina Jolie. I don't care where you fall on any spectrum whatsoever. Like that, she's just absolutely magnetic. So yeah, I remember Pushing Tin. That was
Okay.
the first movie most people probably would have seen is Hackers. If they think, if they saw Hackers, I did not. So Pushing Tin was the first movie of hers that I saw, and I mean, just wow, just like wowie, wow, like the most memorable part of an otherwise forgettable movie is Angelina Jolie. And that started her thing with what's his face?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton, which was weird. But that's the kind of thing about like that's the other side of Angelina Jolie is that her public life is kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sort of comes with the whole equation is us knowing almost too much sometimes about Angelina Jolie, and it began right around that time. For myself, I can't say that I saw Hackers, but I know that when I was talking about this episode, I was told you can't talk about the films of Angelina Jolie without watching Hackers, and of course I didn't. So, but I hear it's pretty good.
It's one of those early mid 90s movies that is on the forefront of computers, and just it feels like it's an early 90s movie that's on the forefront of computers. So
well, and not only that, I want to say it was only the third or fourth film that she was actually in. It happened relatively early. Her career starts in the late 80s. And Hackers is sort of her first sort of lead. I don't want to call it a star-making moment, but it's definitely, a cult classic. In some circles.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And so,
I think my first movie that I saw her in was Girl Interrupted. And that was like 2000, like 99, 2000. Yeah. So that was
Academy Award winning role.
Yes.
Girl,
that was and it was one of those things where it was like, I think I saw that one but I didn't see it the year that it came out. I saw it probably 6 years ago. Rather recently.
Okay.
and I'm fibbing. The first movie that I saw her in was Tomb Raider.
Okay.
The first movie that I saw her was Tomb Raider. Her earliest movie I'm thinking of her earliest movie
that you saw.
was
Gotcha.
Girl Interrupter. Sorry, that's what I'm thinking of. Sorry.
Yep.
Going backwards.
Tomb
It's
Raider
been a long
is.
day.
I don't. Tomb Raider was the introduction of Angelina Jolie, action star. I mean, even though Gone in 60 Seconds is, but she's not doing a lot of like heavy action lifting there. Whereas Tomb Raider, there's a lot that she has to do, and so it's you mentioned it at the jump, like action star and drama, like she doesn't have a lot of middle road where like Pushing Tin, I would count as sort of like a middle road where it's like it's a sort of a funny movie, but it's also like she's either like really like super heavy action like Salt and Mr. and Mrs. Smith and or like really heavy drama like her very own By the Sea or
Changeling.
The Changeling, right? Or Girl Interrupted. It's like she shows a lot of range, and as I look over her filmography, and what we're going to do here in a moment is just sort of share some memories we have of some of the films that stood out to us. As I was looking over the body of her work, I was literally thinking the same thing, that there's really no way to classify her as an action star or a dramatic actor. She voices animated films. I mean, there's just this sort of wide range of things that she's able to do. And then when you get into her credits as producer, director, writer, again, obviously film is a passion that she's been in, and she grew up with it because she is of a lineage. Yeah. She comes from a very famous family, the daughter of John Voight. Yeah. In fact, her first ever film was in 1982. She was credited as Angelina Jolie Voight in Looking to Get Out. Never heard of it. No. But that was her very first credit. But hey, when you get a moment, Paul, maybe you should check out for one of your what the hell did I just watch? A little movie called Cyborg 2. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Or maybe I will. So.
Oh boy. But if you two watch it, and I don't, maybe I should watch it.
No, I'm not. No, you don't need to worry. I am not watching that.
Yay! Yay!
No, you're safe.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Lucky me.
I think if you think about the way her filmography plays out, 1995 she releases Hackers. Yeah. And then there's quite a few films that are sort of up until 1999, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 10 films before Pushing Tin, and
some television appearances. Some of those are television appearances. Some of those are videos. One of them is Gia, and look, I just gotta say Gia. I mean, it's not the most artistic movie of all time, but holy crow.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a bit of Angelina Jolie in Gia.
Yeah. And, a film that would actually be, one of her hallmarks for at least in her early career.
Yeah.
As she goes through films like, and this is where her filmography was literally several moments to be going, oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was in that. Pushing Tin, when you mentioned it a moment ago, Paul, I was like, oh, that's right.
Bone Collector would be another one.
And that was going to be,
oh my God, that's right. That was,
So as we begin to share some of the films of Angelina Jolie that kind of stood out to us, I'd just like us to share, what are some of our favorites? What are some of the ones that for us were enjoyable? And I want to start with Bone Collector. The Bone Collector for me, of course, is based on one of my favorite book characters, Lincoln Rhyme. It stars Denzel Washington. Angelina Jolie plays the one of the two main characters from the book The Bone Collector. And I don't know about you guys, but that film for me, it's a close enough portrayal of the book that I really enjoyed it. But if you see it as a standalone, not knowing the book, it's a pretty decent little thriller. So your thoughts, or if you've seen it, or just any thoughts you might have on that film?
I've seen it. We know the answer for Susan. I've seen it. Here's the thing. Mid 90s thrillers, not my genre of choice.
Okay.
There were just like Seven came out. Like there are so many movies that are just like The Bone Collector.
Yeah.
It's like enough. I don't need them. I don't. Yeah. Like a movie that I'm going to mention during the real quick reviews is Woman in the Window. That should have been made in 98, and I could have forgiven it if it had been made in 98. But like, it's just like enough. It's mid 90s thrillers, not my favorite movies. But that being said, it's perfectly fine if you don't mind those.
Ironically, the topic of next week's show. Mid-90s thrillers.
Oh boy, here we go. No.
So we can round robin this. Susan, any film that you would want to start off by mentioning, that you like of hers?
Yeah, actually, and this one might surprise you guys. I actually liked Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Ha ha ha, which was fun because it's kind of an action-y type of movie, kind of, sort of, not really, but it was neat because I thought, because it kind of it was a fun sort of spin on the spy type of shtick, kind of thing with I'm a spy and you're a spy and we don't know we're spies, but we're opposite spies.
That's a really poor, good encapsulation of what the movie.
That's the entire story, okay?
You captured it perfectly.
I just thought it was neat because it was kind of, I think up until that point it was I didn't know much about Angelina Jolie except for that she was real pretty.
She is.
And so it was kind of it was needed to see a different side of her. So that was my kind of exposure to, oh look, she can do more things. Sure. Because I think at that time I was still kind of in the movies are bad and I don't want to watch them. I'm not very far removed from that phase. I'm getting there. I think I'm at 575 movies. But I'm getting further out of there, I guess. And so I had seen Tomb Raider and it was like, yay. And then it was like, okay, this one, but that was like how many years apart? Sure. Well, we're getting there. Yay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So mine would also be Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but I'll throw out two other ones. One was mentioned in the chat, Wanted. That's a guilty pleasure for me. I recognize that movie really doesn't work, but I don't care. I
love that film.
I know it's so much fun. It is so absurdly fun, but it has some issues. But if you just like stupid action, it's just sit back and soak it in. McAvoy is amazing in that also. Mm-hmm. And the other one I want to mention, where she has a very, very small role, is Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
She's in it for 5 minutes, but I don't care. I just want to mention the movie because that movie is so much fun. And she's got this fun little role where she gets to be a little cheeky and it's great. It's good.
Right.
Yeah. So
there are times where her acting is solid, but as with any other career, it doesn't always hit the mark. Mm-hmm. Yet, there are certain films, as you both know, that I'll return to despite what the world thinks of them. Her portrayal of the character, and I know it's not historical, but in the movie Alexander by Oliver, it's such a weird casting. That whole film has so many. We could do a whole episode on that movie. We won't. There's so many problems with the film. Not the least of which is he's released 7 different versions of it. And they keep getting longer, but her portrayal was she was so committed to the decisions she made in portraying her character to a fault. And yet I can watch that movie over and over and really like enjoy her portrayal, like, you know, the work she did. And so she even manages to make a mark on a film or on films that aren't necessarily strong.
Yeah.
And you remember that she was there.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that was one of the interesting choices I knew I wanted to make sure I brought up. But
of course.
There is some. Well, there's one in the comments too. Diana brought up Shark Tale.
Yeah.
That is another one, and I'm sure I don't know that you've seen it. Maybe Sergio. It's an animated film that she voiced a character. They made that her little fish look so much like her.
Right.
It was kind of ridiculous, but also like, hey,
yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah,
and my kids watched it so many times. I used to be able to say the car wash, the way that they answered the phone. I can't do it anymore, so please don't ask me. I was just like, oh.
Maybe we'll get Diana to do it since she mentioned it. So,
but her animated movies, Kung Fu Panda is so much better. I mean,
oh yeah.
I'm not saying anything about that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they did a really great job in the animations.
Okay, making a fish look like Angelina Jolie.
Thank you very much.
So that even fish would be attracted to her. So,
yes, for sure.
I mean, we were talking. The first thing was all like, Angelina Jolie's so pretty.
Well, she is. Look, here's the thing: is that's part of her draw in the cinema is in the movie is she's always like completely captivating and like and it's not just she's beautiful. It's like she just has this way about her that just absolutely sucks you in and makes you be like, okay, I'm in. I'm just gonna watch Angelina Jolie play this character and see where it goes, because it's just like this is the interesting thing about this movie. Usually, like she's usually, and I'm spoiler alert. I'm stressing usually the most interesting thing of a movie. So,
have either of you seen the Maleficent movie? Okay, so what are y'all's thoughts on that? Because I wanted to like her, and I wanted to like that movie.
Yeah,
and there were so many things about it that I was just like, I wanted to not like her. I wanted to be angry at her. I wanted to hate it. I wanted to not like her. It just was kind of like I had no feeling about it at all.
So as much as Sergio can talk to anybody about a horrible action movie that everybody hates except for him, I can talk about any Disney movie at super long length. And so here's my thing with Maleficent. They advertised it like, it's a movie about Maleficent and she's, and she's evil and blah, 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 blah. And it's like the movie, she's not evil at all. Like she's actually the good guy. And it's like in the original animated feature, I mean, Maleficent's just downright freaking evil. Like, her entire motivation is I didn't get invited to the party, so I'm going to curse your daughter now. And it's like, it's really dark.
Right.
She's not that in Maleficent. No. And I
wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one that was like, am I missing something here? Because I'm missing something here.
And oddly, because of that, I actually liked the second one a little more because they made her a little bit more dark. But even then, it still didn't work. It's just like, no, she's not. It makes me angry that because Maleficent is such a great character, and just do the thing. Right. You can have a movie about a bad guy and show, there's no, I don't know.
Yeah. For me, I didn't think I needed an origin story for Maleficent, but when I heard that it was coming out, I was like, okay, all right, I'll check it out. It's Angelina Jolie. Let's see. And of course the trailer looked spectacular, but I'll say that when it was done, I was like, I wasn't motivated enough to see the second one. And so,
Yeah, that was the same thing with me.
It was free. It was free on Disney Plus, and so there you go.
I'll probably have to catch it at some point because now I'm curious. But
it's yeah. I mean, I actually did like it a little more than the first one, but you know, just.
So apparently the line is you get a whale of a wash and the price, oh my gosh. So
that's right.
Thank you, Diana. So
no, still no. I'm not going to do it.
I know
it requires a horrible accent. And I'm not going to. I would butcher it and you would laugh at me forever. Maybe afterwards for y'all.
Yeah.
Because I have an accent that I do, and it's funny, and only one person gets to hear it ever.
So also want to say thank you to Jason for commenting about Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Wanted. Thank you guys for joining us, those of you who are watching. I would be remiss if I didn't mention in this topic The Good Shepherd. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. It's Matt Damon, Angelina Jolie. She plays such a tortured character. Again, it's those talky films I love, and you know, her role in it is classic Jolie. I mean, I don't know if I would say she chews the scenery in her films, but she kind of does. You know, she really. The word I kept coming back to as I reviewed her work was commitment. She commits to the character she creates and makes them memorable. Not all of them, because again, I had a lot of moments of like, oh yeah, she was in that. But that to me is sort of one of the hallmarks of that particular film that I really enjoyed. And of course, her portrayal in The Changeling, you know, any we talked about this more than once, you know, children in distress movies, you know, Changeling really pushes the envelope there.
Such a weird movie.
It really is. It really is
such a weird movie.
Yeah, and what a great casting on her part.
Yeah,
to, you know, add that to her filmography
for sure. Yeah, she does a good job with it. It doesn't make it any less odd.
Right. Yes, uncomfortable.
Yeah,
is what I'd say. Any other movies you guys want to mention before we finish our look at her career?
I checked. I had a couple of holes in my Angelina Jolie that I wanted to fill, and I actually watched Salt today.
Okay,
that was pretty good. Like a pretty decent spy thriller. Like, and it's the classic. Like, why did I not see that coming? Ending, but you know, there it is. And I also watched one of the movies that she directed, which is By the Sea. Mm-hmm. Really, it's not the best movie I've ever seen. No, but it's interesting. It's you might like it, Sergio, because it's super talky, but it's tough. It's not. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how I definitely didn't like it, but I also didn't hate it. You know, it's like a classic, like
those are the ones I usually like. So.
Yeah, right. Well, there are some things in it that are really good, and she does a great job with the direction. The direction is actually fantastic, but she also wrote it, and the ending is horrible. So it's like you get kudos for the directing, which was really good, but the story, there were aspects of the story that I didn't like, and the ending I hated the ending. So I don't know.
Yeah. Susan, any others that you want to share?
Nope. I think we pretty much covered it for me.
I'm curious to hear from those who are watching if you guys have any Angelina Jolie favorites or movies that you feel should be mentioned. We'll look to the comments to see if anything else gets shared. But I will say that upon reviewing her filmography and thinking about the films that I know stood out to me throughout the years that I've watched her films, it's that commitment to her role, but also the diversity in terms of roles and projects. And, I'm so glad Wanted came up because you know,
love
it's
it.
fantastic.
I love it.
It's,
My wife hates it. My wife and I both love Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and so I was like, and I went and saw Wanted in the theaters, and I was like, oh, you got to watch this, and she's like, oh, I hate this. I don't like it at all, and I'm like, oh, because I love Mr. and Mrs. Smith so much, and Wanted was just so much fun, but there are problems with it.
I saw that again recently. So
awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, the films of Angelina Jolie are always fun to go back to, most of them. And we wanted to talk about her tonight because later on in the episode, in our real quick reviews, we will be talking about her latest, Those Who Wish Me Dead. And so we'll be talking about that in just a bit. Right now, though, we want to remind you, you can find us here on YouTube. If this is where you're watching us, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also click the notification bell so you know when these episodes land week to week. I will say that the plan is every Tuesday evening from here forward, we'll be doing our live episode of Real to Real Talk. So please join us. Leave a comment below. Leave a like. And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, thank you so much for that. You can find us on Real to Real Talk on Facebook. So go on over, give our page a like. If you have already, we say thank you. And comment. Let us know what you think, what you want us to talk about. Give us ideas and so forth there on Facebook. You can also find us on Instagram. Instagram is at Real to Real Talk, where you can see all of the posters of the past episodes that we've done. And also know what is coming in the future. So we thank you for joining us as always. With that, we start with this week's segments, and we like to start with a little something called What the Hell Did I Just Watch? Paul, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. Okay. So this week, I picked a movie. We went to Europe, and we went with a foreign movie, and it's a film called Funny Games from 1997. Not to be confused with the American remake from 2007, starring Naomi Watts by the same name. But this is the original Funny Games. I'm just gonna say it out front. Sergio and Susan, do not watch this movie under any circumstances. This is not for either of you to watch. That being said, really interesting movie.
Good to know. Okay.
It's a family film in the sense that a family goes on vacation and then get trapped in their own in their little lake house by two psychotic people and then tortured. So, yeah,
There you go.
You know, family film.
Right. There was a family in it.
There was a family in it, and there was a dog in it in the start.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, look, this movie is just about as fucked up a movie as I've ever seen in my This movie is just not for everyone. In fact, it's probably not for like 99% of the population, and just the small sliver of people that think it's interesting to watch psychopaths do horrible things. They're gonna love it. It's actually an interesting movie. It's really weird what it does with the genre, though, from the standpoint of the one of the psychopaths like breaks the fourth wall. It several times and brings the audience in the horrible things that he does, and it's really upsetting. It's just really and having being brought into the film like that, it's just really weird. And then there's a point where like you feel like, oh, I'm gonna get my happy ending, and then you don't, because again the psychopath does a thing, and I'm not, since Jason said he's gonna watch it now, I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, it gets really fucking weird, and yeah.
That's interesting. How did this land on your radar? I'm curious. I know there's a list, but
because he's like
I just
messed up movies in Google.
Yes. No, so
the most messed up movies ranked Oh,
that's what I do.
Messed up, clicky.
So that is what I do. I look, some of my searches are like strangest movies that you can watch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this one fell on that list, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to write it down and then make a note of it. And then I was listening to a podcast, and they mentioned it in a podcast, and I was like, oh, I'm moving this one up.
That's a sign.
And on it, I'd been looking for it to be on a streamer for free, and it hadn't been, and then it showed up on HBO Max, and so I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's do it. It is not for everyone.
Jason says that's right up my alley. So
all right,
there you go.
Well, come back next week and tell me what you thought, Jason. And stay tuned for this segment because I will give you more.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you want to see some weird shit,
yep.
Hang out with us every Tuesday.
Funny Games is high on the weird shit-o-meter.
That's what we need now is a weird shit-o-meter.
Where does it fall on the weird shit-o-meter?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can find out week to week what weirdness Paul has experienced on What the Hell Did I Just Watch? Paul, thank you as always for making our life intriguing.
Different.
Yeah, indeed. That brings us to this that brings us to this week's installment of Susan Finally Saw. Susan, your journey continues, and it sounds like the list has diminished by one.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you? But no, because
wow.
Interesting. I don't know words. Interestingly, someone that made him some comments at me, and I have added like 16 new movies.
Wow.
And took one away. Instead of watching, I usually go watch some older movies or ones that have been on there for a while, or ones that are from a while ago, ones that have been around a while. I actually have been wanting to watch this one for a while, so I watched a movie from 2018. I watched Radium Girls. It's talking about the in the 1930s. When they were painting the radium, the dials on the women that were painting the dials of clocks and watches for Americans while we were at war and everything, glow in the dark, and starting to develop cancer, and the company was actually selling radiated water as a cure-all, and being like, hey, you've got headaches, drink some radium water. And people were like losing teeth and chunks of their jaw, and like they were like, it's because it's not because of the radium, it's because you've got venereal diseases and stuff like that, and they were trying to cover it up. And it's like it was very talky. You guys would be proud of me. There was there were no explosions or anything, or like any action, hardly at all. It was all talking the entire time.
I was wondering.
And nothing funny, I'm sure.
No, no funny at all. And it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was pretty interesting, and I stayed with it the entire time and didn't fall asleep at all. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. And so it is one down off of my list. But the list.
Somebody suggested this to you, or
someone suggested it?
Okay.
No, someone did suggest it to me, and I was. It's actually been something that I've been wanting to watch for a while. It popped up. Can't remember how it popped up. Like maybe it's an advertisement somewhere.
I've never even heard of this one before.
It is an independent film, so it was something that was kind of like, oh, that's kind of neat. I'm also kind of a weird like history thing. My dad was always really big into history, and look, if we were on a road trip and it's hey, it's going to take us 3 hours to get there, it would probably take us 6 hours to get there, because anytime there was a historical marker on the way, we would pull over and read it. And we learned a lot on the way there, but we were also like, oh my God, can we just get to the beach already? So, yeah, that was. I do have a love of history and historical events. So, I mean, I already had a slight familiarity with the story and kind of an idea of what was going on, but it was
Gotcha.
pretty neat. I did enjoy it. So yeah, check it out.
Excellent. So Susan liked a talkie film. That's a new one. So
I know.
I am impressed.
I know. It's not. If I remember, it wasn't very long, but it was neat, and it was.
Yeah. It rings a bell, but I can't say that I've seen it. So I'm curious now. So
It's I just looked on Wikipedia. So it was made in 2018, and it made its debut in the Tribeca Film Festival, but then it didn't see the light of day again until October 2020 when it was put in select theaters, and then it's now on Netflix. So
well, there you go.
that kind of explains why I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's not. It's an independent. It was kind of like an independent, film that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure you check out Radium Girls and make sure you come back week to week to find out what Susan finally saw as she continues her movie watching journey here on the show, because you've only got about a couple thousand to catch up with us. So
only, hey, and if you have something that you think I absolutely have to see, even if it's one of those things that you're like, she's probably already seen it. Chances are I haven't.
And don't send her horror movies. Don't.
I mean, I'm trying to expand my horizons.
Yes,
so send it to me. Just don't. I'm not going to guarantee that I'm going to watch it.
Expanding your horizons and knowing what you like and don't like are two different things, though.
I'm gonna give it the old college try. I'm gonna see what I can do, and I'm not gonna say outright that I'm not gonna try it, but I might not try it. Just send it to me anyway. I'm not gonna tell you to your face I won't, but send it to me anyway.
All right, you can do so here on YouTube or Facebook. So let us know and send Susan movies to watch, and maybe she'll end up liking it, like the 13th Warrior. So it's time now this week for Real Time Rewind. In this segment, I just remind you of films that are out there that I know I enjoyed, and I hope you will too. If you haven't caught them, then please give them a shot. If you have, then it's okay to rewatch them. This week, I just want to mention one of my absolute favorite Leonardo DiCaprio films that I swore that year would be the role that would get him his Oscar finally, but I was wrong. This picture is The Wolf of Wall Street. It is a Martin Scorsese tour de force of a film, and it's based off Jordan Belfort's book, Who Went to Prison for All Kinds of Fraud. Did you put the 13th Warrior really on the?
Sorry, what?
Leo was not in that one. Although it might have made it better. The Wolf of Wall Street is a fantastic film that is just frenetic in pace. I believe well directed, and I really, really thought that he was going to pick up the Oscar that year, but it would happen a year or two later with The Revenant. But if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. If you have seen it, watch it again. I watch it at least once a year. So The Wolf of Wall Street is this week's Real Time Rewind. Before we get to our real quick reviews, just want to remind you can find us on Facebook, so make sure you do. Give us a like on our Facebook page, Real to Real Talk, and comment, talk to us, let us know what you like, what you'd like us to watch, what you want us to talk about. Are there other actors that you'd like us to bring up, or perhaps directors? We can dedicate entire episodes like we did today to them, so give us some ideas. We'd love to hear from you. Also on Instagram, you can catch all of our past posters, so you know what we've talked about on the past 70 episodes, as we are now on episode 71 here at Real to Real Talk, approaching episode number 75 very soon. So catch us on Instagram. Also on YouTube, don't forget, click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also click the notification bell so that you know when our episodes land. Join us here every week, Tuesday night, for a live Real to Real Talk, and give us likes because we're greedy, and we love y'all when you do. All right, it's time now for this week's real quick reviews. We talked to the films of Angelina Jolie, and guys, we're going to talk about a movie called Those Who Wish Me Dead. Can I just start by saying that there was a point where I thought, I've seen Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Again, what was it? Would that be a 90s action?
They weren't on fire in Cliffhanger.
This is wrong, but no, truly not.
I mean, it's totally different.
Fiery Cliffhanger, yeah.
I here's the thing. The first 5 minutes of this movie are amazing.
Not even 20 or 30. I love it.
Yeah, the first 5. I love the intro to this movie.
Sure.
Like it is. First of all, it's got Littlefinger in it, and I'm in right off the. Come on, right. It just. I'm drawn into the two characters, Littlefinger and his compatriot instantly,
Right.
And it provides enough goodwill to get me through the next horrible 15 minutes. So, but then it finds its groove and it gets okay.
Did it?
I thought so. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
Like it's free on HBO Max, and if you have HBO Max, it's worth the hour and a half. But if you don't have HBO Max, this is not the time to go sign up and be like, "Oh, I got to check this one out."
Right.
Yeah. If you didn't go out for Godzilla versus Kong versus Godzilla, then you can wait longer.
Sure. In the film, Angelina Jolie portrays a fire jumper that never jumps into a fire,
and is instantly grounded or locked or whatever. I don't know. Put on the sidelines.
Right.
It's the problem with the movie. She's the problem with the movie. Like her character is uninteresting. She is uninteresting. Her backstory is completely uninteresting and irrelevant to everything going on in the movie. And who cares? And so, like I said earlier, she's usually one of the most interesting things in the movie. She was by far, and it's not even close, she was by far the least interesting thing in this movie. And I would be really hard pressed to come up with number 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your thoughts?
I mean, kind of the same thing. It was just kind of like, did we need all of that really? Like, no. Not really. I mean, it was detracted. I felt like it would have been better without it.
Yeah.
Just throw random dude or woman, whatever, throw random person out there. I've never heard of them before. That's fine. Have them be a firefighter and it's stuck up in there. I don't need any backstory for them at all. Right. I don't need an introductory scene that is completely lame. And just show people fighting the fire while the kid tries to get out of it. I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. There's no need for the whole traumatic event. There's no need for the flashbacks or the nightmares and the. No. Yep. Yeah. No.
Unnecessary.
I mean, I go back to what I said earlier in that, one of the hallmarks of Jolie's career is the commitment she shows to a role. I didn't feel that in this one.
No.
She seemed very disinterested.
Yeah.
Again, I can't speak for her, but right. I just didn't feel anything. Like you said, it could have been anyone.
Yeah.
When the thing I focus on in a movie is wondering if I would be able to climb the ladder to get to the top of that tower and make it to the top. Like that dominated my thought. Every time that tower was shown, I found myself on a 5-minute thought of could I get up there? Would my weight topple the thing? I mean, it was just, there wasn't enough compelling stuff happening. Plus the fire effects were horrible. It was such horrible rendition of fire.
It's one of those things where I was like, have the people who made the movie, have they ever actually seen a fire in real life? Even a campfire or a fire in a fireplace or a candle? Like a candle would be cool. They could probably just look up a candle.
Very, very problematic. And we do finally get firefighters jumping, and I'm like, whoa, why? What's the in Spanish we say ya pa qué? So, a lot of problems with this film. But we are reviewing it. So here on Reel to Reel Talk, we have a 5 taco scale that we use to review films. And the most you can give a film is 5 tacos. But if you want to give it some more, you can give it some guac. Paul, we'll start with you. Those Who Wish Me Dead, what amount of tacos would you give this film?
I don't know. Okay. I'm going to go with 2 shitty tacos and but a little bit of guac.
Oh,
A little bit of guac. I because there were scenes that were fantastic. Like I genuinely loved the first 5 minutes.
okay.
I loved the scene in the cabin. There were things that happened that I really liked, and then there were things that happened that I just no. And maybe it just deserves 2 shitty tacos, but I'm gonna just give it the guac because of the first 5 minutes, I guess.
But brown guac.
Yeah,
Like
it's not the best guac.
Gotcha. All right, thank you, Paul. Susan, your rating for Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that rating. I'm gonna say 2 shitty guac filled tacos. But it's the guacamole that has like a lot of cilantro in it, and they charged you $2.50 for it.
The fuckers, why do they charge that much for guac?
$2.50, and it's the guacamole they made it in the morning, and it's like 6:30 in the afternoon. And
I can make guacamole for $2.50. I don't,
and it's got like it's like a tablespoon of guacamole, and they put 3 tablespoons of cilantro in it.
Avocado, cilantro, salt.
No
wine.
cilantro.
Yeah,
no cilantro.
Well,
no,
if you don't like,
it
whatever.
tastes like soap.
Okay, so you have the you have the interesting. Okay, so
lucky.
All right, cilantro, yes or no, depending on if you don't think it tastes like soap. And
it doesn't need to be there. So my rating. Anyway, my rating is 2 tacos with guac. I think she could have done so much better. She could have done so much better. She could have made it so much better if she had just tried. If she just tried.
No.
I don't.
That character was completely superfluous to the film. She should not have been in it. Like there was her being in the movie cannot possibly redeem this movie because that character was so bad.
Well, maybe maybe with better writing. We'll say.
I mean, hey, that's your call. That's your call.
Maybe
it's
but
just
I don't want that character anyway.
My opinion is.
I know.
My opinion.
My opinion is that you guys are very generous with the guac today, because it ain't gonna get no guac, and it's reaching for that second taco, but it fell off the plate.
Oh no!
And so it gets 1 taco for me. I was that disappointed.
Wow!
In the overall execution.
Wow.
See,
I was just I don't know what I was expecting, but for some reason I wasn't surprised.
Okay.
I wasn't surprised.
Cringy McInteresting over there with his stingy tacos.
So 1 taco for Those Who Wish Me Dead. But hey, we always say, don't take our word for it. Make sure you check it out. It's on HBO Max, soon to be in theaters as well.
No, it's in theaters. It is at the
dual. It's actually going to fall off of HBO Max, I believe, in a couple of weeks. So So catch it now. Save your money, is what we'd say. So. All right, so that is this week's real quick review. Paul, did you have anything else that you wanted to share in this segment?
The Woman in the Window, the new Amy Adams movie. I have spouted my love for Amy Adams on this podcast before.
Quite liberally.
Yeah, this is not that. This movie just sucked from beginning to end, and I'm on record as saying I'm one of the world's worst predictors of what's going to happen at the end of a movie. Like I called the twist on this one. Like the second the character comes on screen, I'm like, oh, well, this is what's going to happen. Like I've seen this movie before in the 90s and I didn't like it then. I'm not going to like it now. And it was bad. I mean, but this wasn't just like, I'm not a fan of the genre. This was just like a flat out bad movie. It stunk. And this is and honestly, I think if I had seen the Angelina Jolie movie before this one, I might have disliked the Angelina Jolie movie more, but because this was so unwatchable, I kind of enjoyed. I was able to extract some enjoyment from Those Who Want Me Dead, or Wish Me Dead. So yeah, Woman in the Window, one shitty taco.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe that's where he got his generosity. Maybe
I picked, and that one taco was the taco you dropped on the floor, Sergio, and I picked it up.
Nice.
Yes.
It's floor taco.
That's funny. It's a floor taco.
It's floor taco. It's shitty floor taco.
It is shitty floor taco. So bad. This movie is so bad, and it has such a great cast, and it's like
It's like breakfast taco in a northern state where they put hash
Ketchup.
browns on it.
Oh,
Hash browns
hash
on it instead of potatoes.
I don't know.
You
what
tell
you're
me a
talking
story
about.
once and I'll never forget
Been
it.
there. Yeah, I'll never. Yeah. So the story is, Paul, I was in Nebraska, and
Oh, that's
I
what it was,
made the mistake of
Nebraska.
I made the mistake of ordering a breakfast taco, and it was potato and egg, and it was egg and tater tots.
Potato.
So,
Tater tots. That's what it is.
tater
When I say
tots,
hash
though.
brown.
yeah,
Tater tots.
You ordered something called a taco in Nebraska.
Hey, listen. I have paid my penance. I have paid my penance. I am acknowledging the fact that I was not thinking that early in the morning because no coffee. So
Nebraska screams hash.
right.
And if you can't find hash, then you're going pancake.
Tater tots.
And that's
Tater
it.
tots.
Tater tots would be fine too.
It
But
was tater
All right.
tots.
So I want to make sure that we show you, Susan, that there was a movie that was suggested to you. So Jason had said Shogun Assassin.
Oh,
so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Jason for that suggestion. And I found out
I see your face.
We can share our friends' comments on screen. Don't be judging our audience, Paul. We love our viewers.
Okay. All right. We'll talk after.
All right. This is going to be fun. I think folks are going to start suggesting movies in real time here.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
All right. This is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. Either Jason is going to be my new best friend, or I'm going to find you in the alleyway afterwards.
Awesome. All right, to all of those you that were watching, thank you so much for joining us here on this week's episode of Real to Real Talk. Paul, Susan, I'm already looking forward to next time. Thanks for a fun episode.
It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
Indeed. To all of you out there, we thank you so much for joining us here on YouTube, Facebook Live, and so forth. Please continue to do so week to week as we have a lot of fun doing this for you. But more importantly, remember, you're awesome, you're amazing, and the world's a better place because you are in it. We'll see you next time